What if I told you that one of the most hyped technologies of our lifetime might be nothing more than a very sophisticated illusion? And what if the people promoting it without even realizing it have been selling the exact opposite of what it was supposed to achieve? Today, I want to show you why crypto may be the smartest scam ever invented. Not because every person involved is a scammer, but because the system itself is built in a way that rewards confusion, speculation, and belief over reality. And before anyone jumps to the comments, I'm not your enemy if you love crypto. I'm someone who used to believe in the idea myself. But at some point you stop asking how high can it go and start asking what does it actually solve. That question changed everything for me. And by the end of this video, I want you to answer honestly. Has crypto delivered anything close to what it promised? The purpose of this video is simple. I want to break down 5 things that reveal the uncomfortable truth behind cryptocurrency. The promise versus the reality of Bitcoin. Why crypto has almost no real-world, widespread utility. How crypto quietly turned into just another speculative asset class. Why so many people still believe in crypto despite everything. You'll notice I'm not here to insult anyone. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong for investing. I'm here to ask the questions most people avoid, because once you start digging, the story doesn't look like innovation anymore. It looks like marketing. Let's get into it, starting with the myth that got the whole thing going. 1. The promise versus the reality of Bitcoin. Was the dream ever real? When Bitcoin first appeared in 2009, it came with a message that felt revolutionary. A currency outside government control. A financial system that didn't rely on banks. A way to send value instantly, globally without permission. Tell me that doesn't sound incredible. Tell me that 15 years ago, you wouldn't have rooted for something like that. But here, the question that keeps bothering me. If Bitcoin was designed as a currency, why hasn't it become one? Let's consider the original promises. Promise 1, Bitcoin will replace traditional money. But can a currency work if prices change every minute? You can lose everything with a single mistake. Transactions cost more during network congestion. You can't reverse fraud or theft. The system can't scale to the level of Visa, MasterCard, or even regional banks. Imagine trying to buy a cup of coffee. The price in Bitcoin could rise or fall before the transaction even confirms. Is that a currency, or is it a lottery ticket? And then there's the bigger issue. Most people don't want a currency that can drop 20% in a day. Stability isn't optional. It's the foundation of money. Promise 2, Bitcoin is cheaper and faster than traditional finance. Is it? Sometimes yes. Most of the time no. Bitcoin transactions can take 10 minutes to an hour. In the real world, we use payment systems that confirm in seconds. You might not see it because it's behind apps and banking systems, but Visa handles over 65,000 transactions per second at peak capacity. Bitcoin handles around 7. Not 7,000. Just 7. And if Bitcoin needs secondary layers to be usable, like Lightning Network, then we've basically recreated banks and payment processors anyway. So what exactly did we replace? Promise 3, Bitcoin is decentralized. This is where things get uncomfortable. Is Bitcoin truly decentralized when a handful of mining pools control most of the network? Most Bitcoin sits on exchanges, not personal wallets. A small number of wallets hold a massive percentage of total supply. Developers and miners make the real decisions. Decentralization sounds good in theory. But in practice, regular people don't want the responsibility of storing their own private keys. Exchanges do it for them. And the moment you trust a third party, you're back to a centralized system. The very thing Bitcoin claimed to eliminate. And here's the real twist. Without those exchanges and middlemen, most users wouldn't touch crypto at all. So was Bitcoin ever going to become everyday money? Or was that just the dream investors needed in order for early holders to profit? That's the question no one wants to ask. But let's move on because the next part exposes an even bigger contradiction. 2. Why crypto has no real-world widespread utility. What's the holdup? Whenever I ask crypto supporters to name widespread real-world use cases, I get vague answers. Remittances, digital ownership, banking the unbanked, freedom from government control. Those are nice ideas. But where's the scale? Where's the adoption? Where are the millions of people using these systems daily in ways that matter? Let's walk through the most common arguments and ask, if crypto is this revolutionary, why isn't the world using it? Argument 1, crypto is great for remittances. Is it? Because the most popular remittance services today, Wise, PayPal, Western Union, work faster and have direct compliance with the law. Crypto remittances still require the receiver to understand wallets, private keys, and price volatility. And in many countries, converting crypto back into cash introduces fees that cancel out any benefits. So again, what exactly is the advantage? Argument 2, crypto helps the unbanked. This one sounds powerful. It appeals to emotion. But does it hold up when you look at actual behavior? People who lack banking access often lack reliable internet, secure devices, education on financial tools, stable electricity, protection from scams or private key loss. Crypto doesn't solve those problems. If anything, it introduces new ones. I always ask this. If someone doesn't trust local banks, why would they trust an asset that can lose half its value in a month? It's not a solution. It's a risk. Argument 3, crypto lets people own digital assets. True, but NFTs revealed the cracks. You don't own the artwork. You own a token that points to a file on someone else's server. If that server disappears, your asset is a broken link. So what do you really own? And if digital ownership were such a breakthrough, wouldn't we see mainstream companies adopting it beyond experiments and marketing stunts? Argument 4, crypto protects people from government overreach. This is where crypto supporters often get loud. But look at the countries with actual instability or authoritarian governments. What do people move into? US dollars. Not crypto. Dollars remain the most trusted escape valve on Earth. Not Bitcoin. Not Ethereum. Not stablecoins, actual dollars. If crypto can't even dominate in the places where it should be most useful, what does that tell you? The uncomfortable truth. Crypto is a brilliant concept that never became a functional product. It sounds revolutionary. It feels futuristic. But in practice, it hasn't solved real problems at scale. And deep down, people know this. Which is why the narrative shifted dramatically over the last decade. Crypto wasn't adopted as money. Crypto wasn't adopted as a utility. It was adopted as something else entirely. And what it became changed everything. 3. How crypto turned into another asset class for speculation. Did we misunderstand the whole thing? At some point, nobody talked about using crypto anymore. People started talking about investing in it. Why? Because that's where the excitement was. That's where the money was. That's where the early adopters became millionaires. But here's what you need to ask yourself. If a technology's main function is being bought and sold, is it still a technology? Or is it just an asset? Look at what happened. Bitcoin became digital gold. Ethereum became the base layer for DeFi. New tokens became early-stage opportunities. Exchanges became casinos disguised as banks. Influencers became financial advisors without regulation. And every dip became a buying opportunity. Crypto transformed from a payment solution into a massive speculative market. And speculation requires one thing above all: new buyers. That's why every bull run comes with stories like, institutions are coming. This time is different. Mass adoption is around the corner. You're early. But you know what's missing. Actual adoption. The more you look at it, the more you realize something strange. Crypto doesn't need real-world use cases to survive. It only needs belief. And belief is powerful. Especially when the price keeps rising until it doesn't. But the speculative nature of crypto also created something else. Something darker. Something that exposed the truth behind the illusion. And nothing made that clearer than the spectacular rise and collapse of FTX. 4. Why crypto has everyone fooled. how does an entire industry survive on belief? Crypto didn't become a currency, it didn't become a mainstream financial tool, it didn't replace banks, and it didn't create large-scale practical innovation. So what did it actually become? A speculative market disguised as technology. Not because everyone involved intended to mislead, but because the system naturally rewards hype, not usefulness. It rewards strong narratives, not real performance. Most of all, it rewards price movement, not problem solving. And that leads to one uncomfortable truth: crypto only functions when people believe the future will look better than the present. The proof is rarely in the product. The proof is in the price. Traditional assets have something anchoring their value. Stocks have companies, bonds have interest. Real estate has utility, commodities have physical demand. Crypto has none of these anchors. Its value depends entirely on more buyers, stronger belief, louder marketing, and constant promises of future utility that never fully appears. Whenever a storyline collapses, a new one emerges. Digital gold, smart contracts, Web3, DeFi, the metaverse, plate-worn, AI tokens, institutional adoption. None of these narratives lasted, yet each one helped the market survive another cycle. It's not evolution, it's a survival mechanism. The second problem is structural. Crypto creates tokens, not value. A real business needs customers, systems, and products. A crypto project needs a white paper, a marketing push, a promise, and a listing on an exchange. That alone can generate billions in market value without producing anything tangible. The easiest way to get rich in this industry isn't by using technology, it's by selling the technology. And despite the loud claims of decentralization, the entire system depends on centralized players, exchanges, stablecoin issuers, developers, and market makers. If a few major companies disappeared tomorrow, most of the crypto ecosystem would freeze instantly. The idea of no middlemen exists on paper, not in real usage. And that brings us to the biggest issue. The system is designed to protect the narrative, not the investor. Every collapse is dismissed as an isolated case. FTX, Terra, Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi, yet they all share the same traits: opaque operations, inflated token prices, overpromised utility, and a constant need for new investors. FTX wasn't an exception, it was a preview. Terra wasn't a freak event, it was inevitable. Bitcoin's limited real-world adoption isn't temporary. It's structural, and eventually people will ask for real results instead of future promises. When that day comes, belief won't be enough to hold the industry together. Which leaves us with one final question: is crypto a brilliant scam, or was it simply a brilliant story people wanted to believe?